Good morning, good day, and good afternoon, everybody, and very welcome to this session about ATLASti 8, the new version for Windows that is coming out really very soon. So today is a really special day because we are going to learn what are the differences between ATLASti 7, what are the capacities of ATLASti 8, and in general, my objective of this webinar is to provide a global overview of all possibilities we have with ATLASti 8. To learn how to use ATLASti 8 in 1 hour in this webinar, maybe it's not so easy. But the main idea, the main objective is to see how it works and to decide if I like, I don't like, it's useful for my research or not. And once you decide if you are willing to learn ATLASti, I promise you that my colleagues, including myself, we are elaborating a bunch of video tutorials on ATLASti 8, instrumental video tutorials which explain step by step how to start the project, how to code, and so on. My name is Neringa Kalpokaite, and I'm working for ATLASti as manager of international projects. And on the right side of my PowerPoint slide, you can visualize the contact. You can call every business day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we would be pleased to answer your call. And as well, you can write us. You can write us directly to me. You can write to me neringa.kalpokaite@atlasti.com or to proyectos at atlasti.com. So please free to contact us to ask more details about the software, ask materials, PowerPoints, or exercises what we have. We are more than pleased to share with you and help you, okay? So once I said that, what I want to say as well, that I'm going to present about 45-50 minutes, and after the presentation, I will take questions. But of course, you can write down your questions during my presentation. And what I'm going to do, once I finish my presentation, I will just open my chat, my space for the comments, and I will read out loud and I will answer your questions. Okay? So during the presentation, I will have your microphones muted just to avoid background noise and not to be distracted. So first of all, I want to go through very quickly about the history of ATLASti. And I just wanted to let you know, because I don't know how many of you have used ATLASti in the past, but ATLASti has a pretty long history, is of 27 years. And we can say that ATLASti born in 1989 as a project for Technical University of Berlin. And then we had our first release in 1993. On the left side, you can remember these diskettes that we used to use. Then in 1996, we had first version for Windows. That version was number 4, but it was adapted or applied for Windows. Later on, we moved on version 4.1 and 0.42. In 2004, ATLASti 5 was released, and 2006 another version of ATLASti 5, and in 2009 we had the possibility to start working on ATLASti 6. After that, in 2012, we received the possibility to work on ATLASti 7. This is the version that we currently use, right? We have possibility to work in English, in Spanish, and in German. And after that, the developers of ATLASti, they worked very hard to elaborate the possibility to have ATLASti in our iPad or Android. And it happened in 2013. So those who today have iPad or Android, you can download totally for free the full version of ATLASti in your iPad or Android. It's extremely useful. Why? Because when I can, with my Android or my iPad, I can start recollecting data. I can even record my interviews or make pictures if I'm working visually, for example, and then I can start coding. Yeah, so I can, if I'm traveling, I can take advantage of this like free time and work on my data in my mobile version of ATLASti. After that, 2 years ago, ATLASti for Mac was released. So, and I would say that version for Mac strongly influenced what is coming right now, version 8 for Windows. And it's really the next level. And giving this very short presentation, what I want to do right now, I just want to start creating project in ATLASti and go through all tools we have there. But before I start, I want to ask you to promise me one thing. But this promise, I want just to ask those people who are like experienced users of ATLASti. Why? Because the interface of ATLASti 7.6 has been have been changed a lot. ATLASti 8 is different, is next level. So what you have to do, or what I would suggest to do, and it helped me a lot, just to try to stay in blank, like when you have to do grounded theory, to be open to all possible theoretical directions. But here, what I would like to suggest is to be in blank and see how is ATLASti 8. Don't try to look what we used to have in previous version, okay? But you will have all these tools and even more, because previous versions were more oriented to objects, and this version is more oriented to functions. Personally, I do prefer much better this version. So when you will be having the opportunity to download ATLASti 8, we double click on it. I am working with beta version. So I want to excuse me if something could go wrong with beta version, because beta versions always are like, we need to fix some final technical issues before the software will be released, and it will be released really soon. And when I double click on it, what do I see? It's really pretty different, right? Those who used to use previous version. On the left side, we have all different projects that we recently worked on. Then we have the possibility to create a new project, very simple. If we have been working in ATLASti 7, because the question about, can I transfer from ATLASti 7 to ATLASti 8? And the answer is really clear. You can transfer. You can transfer even from version 5 or 6. You can transfer to ATLASti 8. Okay, and you can use this option. If you are working with mobile version, I mean iPad or Android, so you can import as well your project and keep working on it. Okay, so what I wanted to say, that I'm going to open just one of the projects that I created before this class in order to exemplify the interface and do some exercises. So once I open one of the projects, what do I see? I see pretty different interface. Home, right? This is the button that I'm going to use a lot, and you probably as well if you decide to work with ATLASti 8. If I click on File, there are options like to save, to open other, to export your project if you have been working on this computer and then you want to work in another computer, or you are working in Teams and you want to share your project. So you will be exporting or even merging those who are working in Teams. But step by step, once again, we are in our project and we have left side navigator. Left side navigator, what does it show? It shows everything regarding this project. How many documents I have added to this project, if I have added different documents. If I click on this triangle, I will be able to see all, for example, quotations associated with this document, and even codes associated with these quotations. So I can explore step by step, I can explore my documents, I can explore my codes, my concepts, inductive codes, deductive codes, right? There is no ATLAS.ti does not force you to use one methodology or another. You decide what you want to do, and ATLAS.ti is really flexible and allows you to do everything. Because as well, I have had questions, so I just want to do deductive, I want to use deductive strategy, but I'm sure that ATLAS.ti does not allow. It's not true. So you can use whatever strategy is the most appropriate for your research, and ATLAS.ti will help you to work on it and analyze it. What else we have? Here we have memos. A little bit, if we focus here, we have memos. And what is a memo? For new users, I just want to say that memo is a space for reflection. A space for reflection, what kind of reflection? Depends. I could just describe what do I see. I can write down my methodological decisions, what I am making during the process of analysis. I can write my research diary or write analytic memos where I go beyond the description, where I interpret and analyze my data, right? So memos are important, and whenever I want to visualize, I just double click and I will see my reflections, right? Then I have groups of documents, memos groups, and so on. Okay, so if I want to visualize whatever document I have, what do? Double click, and I will visualize in my screen. I will click another, for example, document, picture, right? In ATLAS.ti, you can work with PDF documents if you're going to work with literature review. It's really useful. If you need to analyze pictures, you have no problem to do it. If you need to analyze videos, I will open one of the videos. Don't tell the words, don't matter. You can segment, you can create quotations and code it, okay? So all these documents, you can just with double click visualize in your screen. All the screen of ATLAS.ti project, you can totally personalize. I will show you just few things, taking into consideration time limits, but then you can explore by yourself. For example, if left navigator, it's not comfortable for me, I want to hide it. Whenever I want, I will be able to hide it, okay? I want to ask you to pay attention, what do I have here? And I have all documents that I was opening one by one. I can step back and visualize those documents, right? Even my memo and so on. If I don't want to have it, I can close it. And what I wanted to show you that it's really nice that all your, for example, memos, documents, you can decide, for example, if you want to float it or if you want to have, let's say, on the left side, my article. On the right side, I want to have this photo. It's extremely important to analyze what happened in the USA and so on. But today is not the objective to analyze political leadership in the USA. Just to exemplify that I can visualize few documents in the main screen, and maybe if I want to do like simultaneous coding or compare and contrast both documents or both pictures that I'm working, I could do it at once. And even more, it's great to code, and I will show you how to code. It's great to compare and contrast, but as well, it's very important to have my reflections. What do you find? To make sense to the data, right? And I can organize that my memo, have it here below, and whenever I read this article or whenever I focus on this image, I can write down my reflections. Following Stefan, he says that nonverbal communication and eye contact is extremely important, and taking into consideration about Trump's nonverbal communication, right? So I could have everything in one main screen, my space to reflect, and my documents, okay? Okie dokie. So now I will close, or I will show you before I close that whenever I am not, I don't want to have a main screen, I want to float it, I just select this option, float it. And if you are working with two screens, for example, this memo, you could move to another screen and have like better distribution if you feel more comfortable in this way. Okay, what else can we do? Let's see if I'm coding, if I want to code my documents. Now I will close what I have here, and I will show you how to code, first of all, this article, and then I will show you with the images, videos, and so on. For example, I'm reading this article, and I see that public speaking behaviors were observed in serious speaking sessions of the interesting. Wow, amazing, I like it. It has to do with my research question. Okay, so I just highlight some parts of the text. I should be able to highlight. Let's save what I did. Because maybe it's, yeah, sorry, I will open another one. What happened in this case is that my PDF file is protected. Because you know that you can download from Mendeley, and now I will show you how to import from Mendeley, Zotero, my complete references. But if my article, my PDF file is completely protected, there are three options: completely protected, saved as an image, semi-protected, or unprotected. So if it's completely protected, then I'm not able to segment the text of PDF. But there are free softwares online that you can just change the format and ask to unprotect or semi-protect the PDF in order to analyze it. Yeah, it's important to know. Yeah. Okay, so let's see whatever text I have here. Let's see if this one is protected as well. Yeah. Yeah, this is I have to fix. Okay, let's say that I have here my open-ended interview, my open-ended questionnaire that I asked about keys of good communication and how people transmit the message, and I want to start coding it. So first step, just highlight the quotation. One sentence, two sentences. The context is very, very important in qualitative analysis, so I have to be aware about how long should be my quotation. And once I'm satisfied with this, create quotation. The interesting thing is that if I change my mind, I very quickly can change the size, and it automatically resizes. In margin area, it resizes me automatically. I will repeat the practice, and I want you to focus on this quotation. This is my quotation, and I will just change the size of this quotation, and it automatically resizes. In previous version, you had to, it was a little bit like 2 steps more you had to complete in order to resize the quotation. It's nice. So ATLASti allows to create free quotation. What does it mean, free quotation? It does not forces you to add a code. You can start just pre-coding. You can start just creating quotations and adding memos to these quotations, reflecting what you see, your first impressions, and just with the second reading start coding. Could be perfectly fine. Even there are methodologists who strongly recommend to go through this process. So once we created a quotation, I could start coding. If I have very clear what codes I want to add, there are 2 options. One, I can create a new code. It means that code emerged from data. So I'm using inductive strategy, grounded theory, and so on. So I select the quotation, right-click, coding, open coding. So open coding means that I will create totally a new code, okay? So open coding, and I could add 1 or several codes. I could add like importance of and so on. These codes now appear in margin area, so I have my quotation and my codes associated with this quotation. These are new codes, but if I'm working, let's say, with this video, with this video, and I see something, for example, about creativity, or once again about the confidence of leader. I watch my video, I say, here exactly, I will just mute it because I'm with the headphones and I'm listening to the speech, very powerful speech, in sense of how he transmits it, not about the content. So I can create the quotation, and of course I have the possibility to right click as we've seen. But if I have my codes, I can drag and drop to my quotation 1, 2, or 50 codes. So these codes comes from my theoretical framework, right? First of all, I did literature review and I created my codes. So I will just repeat once again. And let's say nonverbal communication plus I will create instrumental code that I'm talking about nonverbal communication of Obama. So let's create a new code, open coding, right click, open coding, and I will write down Obama. Okay, here we are, right? What else? With the pictures, if we open whatever picture very quickly, I just have to select the rectangle, this box like this, create free quotation, and once again, I could drag and drop my codes, and in margin area, I can visualize all these codes. Okay, here we are. So coding by list or create new codes is really pretty easy. And those who are not like comfortable with this left navigator and would prefer to have, for example, on the right side, is perfectly possible. How can we do so? I will just go home. Whenever I have to work with document manager, quotation manager, code manager, I know that from home I will reach those managers. So I go home and click on code manager. Here you are, document manager, quotation manager, code manager, memo manager. What I wanted as well to say that why I love so much this version, because whenever you are on whatever tool, automatically ATLASti gives you some tips, describes what can you do with this, right? If you read it, maybe even you don't need to open manual of ATLASti because you here have very clearly explained what can you do with these tools, for example, or managers. So if I want to have my code manager, my code, my list of codes and so on the right side, let's say I click on my code manager. Now it's floating, but what I want to have in main menu. What do? Here you are, this is the button. And I will ask to have it on the right. And now I could start coding. I can drag and drop here. Let's try, because I want to confirm that what I'm saying is correct. So I just drag and drop. Here you are. Okay? So this is another possibility. You can have exactly in the same way your document manager on the right side or whatever you want. So you have really amazing possibilities to do whatever you want. If you want to float it, here you are. Okay, so I will stop about, I will just introduce briefly about Code Manager. And here, I want to say two things. First one, if you know how does one manager works, I promise you that you will be able to work with another managers. It's exactly the same philosophy, it's exactly the same main idea behind how these managers works. So I will show you Code Manager and then I will show you Document Manager, just to double check. And Here I am in Code Manager, right? And I created those codes. Whenever I click on the code, I have a comment space here. In this comment space, I normally write down my operational definition of the code, or my question, what I'm worried about. But basically, a operational definition when I'm going to use each of these codes, right? How do? I just click on it and write down, what do I mean by non-verbal communication orientation? What is that? When I will use this code? Oper definition of the code. Great. So one I can describe, and then of course I can play with colors. I can decide to organize by prefixes, by colors. It's extremely useful once you have a bunch of codes and to organize by topics, because if not, ATLASti organizes alphabetically all my codes. So it's nice to have all codes about nonverbal communication in one space and with the same colors and so on. If I would like to group my codes, I can do it as well. How do? I just select one, two, all the codes I'm interested to group and drag and drop on the left side, code groups. In ATLASti 7 and in previous version, we used to call code families. But the word family is no longer, we do not longer use in ATLASti. We just call group codes, code groups. So I will call inductive codes, let's say, created. I could create as many groups as I want, and one code can be part of different groups. Okay. Let me see how can we visualize our document manager. Here you are. We have our documents. On the left side, we have groups of the documents. We can even preview here, pre-visualize about the document, and just visualize our comment. Right. So on the left side, you see many different families or groups. Let's forget the word families. Groups. Why do I have these groups? If I click, I visualize the documents that are part of this group. And these groups, some of those groups comes when I imported Zotero references, complete references. So I will show you how to import if I'm working with the Zotero references manager or Mendeley and Node, and to see how automatically important this kind of data ATLASti will group for me. Okay, so in order to show how to do it, now we're here at home, like in main screen. I want to import my references from Mendeley. I click on import, and here I see different options. Later I will show about Twitter, and now I want to focus on EndNote. Those who are working with survey data, only those who are working with some open-ended questions and some closed-ended questions, then it makes sense to work with ATLASti. But other day someone wrote me and asked me, I want to work with ATLASti, but just with closed-ended questions. And I said, I'm sorry, we cannot help, because really ATLASti is loyal to qualitative data analysis. Of course you can quantify, you can export to SPSS, but if you have just closed-ended question survey, I'm not sure that ATLASti can help you. But if you have open-ended questions and some closed-ended questions, then it works really, really well. Okay, EndNote. I will click on it, and here I see Reference Manager import. It's one suggestion. It's really important to save or export from Mendeley or Zotero or whatever manager you use for references in XML format. It's easy, just select the option XML. All these managers must allow you to save in this file. So I will select where I have my collection on political leadership. Is exactly done from Mendeley. Open. And when I open here, I have like few ideas, no? Or the ATLASti asks me, what do you want, Neringa? If you want to create document groups from the following meta-analysis, edition, volume, source, issue number, if you are interested, you can click on these and mark these options, and if you are not, you unclick. Okay, this is the reason why I had so many groups and so many document groups. Here as well, you decide what you want and import. Yeah, I see that 4 more documents or articles have been imported. Let's double check. Here you are, one document, another, authentic leadership, ethics, and so on. Very good. If I open my document manager, I can see these documents and where exactly it comes from, right? Even the complete reference. That is really important. Okay, here we are. And when I click on whatever document, I see to what groups of documents it's part of. It seems that this article is from Leadership Quarterly. It's from 2005, and what else? Not much in this case. Yeah, it's just an example. Okay, let's move on. If I would like to do content analysis and count frequency of words of this specific authentic leadership article, or few articles, I could select now few articles which I am interested to count the frequency of the words. Click on the word cloud, and just in a few seconds I'm able to visualize this cloud. If I go with my mouse on each of the words, I see how many times it have been used in this article. Positive 88 times, authentic 242, leadership, wow, and so on. Interesting, okay. And I will show you exactly the same, but with quotations. Let's say it's great that we can count frequency of the words of one document or different documents or the whole project. Of course, you can do it. But what happens if I want to count frequency of the words or the quotations linked to one specific code? Let's say non-verbal communication. Or no, better not another one. Verbal communication. Yeah. So let's say that I want to count the frequency of the words of these quotations linked to this code. Verbal communication. I just select these quotations. I could select 2, 3, or all quotations and word cloud. Here you are. So in a second, less than a second, you have the frequency of the words here. Of some quotations associated to the code, some documents, you decide. Once again, if I am in my, let's say, quotation manager, and it's great, I see this nice word cloud, but what I want to do, I want to export to Excel, to keep working, to keep polishing, and to organize from major to minor and so on. So not just to visualize this cloud, I click on frequencies, and here I have options. I can visualize built-in tool. It's like this tool is inside ATLASti. Another option is to export to Excel. And here you can decide what to exclude and so on. Yeah, what else? Now I want to move on to show about another thing, it's Twitter. Twitter is something really interesting. If you are working with social media, I'm sure that you will like it a lot. I will click on it. It's so easy to import tweets. So let me show how to do it. Here you are. I will just enter my query, what I want to write. And if I want result type like recent, mixed, popular, so on, and what languages, all this I have to decide. I'm the main researcher, so I have to control what I'm doing. But in this case, ATLASti allows me to do whatever I want, almost. And here you are. In a few seconds, we will have this. I will close this document just to have one Twitter imported here. So of course now I have a bunch of codes. These codes were created automatically. I would need to keep working. I would need to polish, to maybe merge some codes, because definitely these codes are helping me, but now I have to work on it as well. Yeah, but you see how quickly I can import my Twitter. I have what kind of import I did, how many tweets, and so on. And then in my Explorer navigator, here I see all my codes and the rest of the codes that I have been working previously, in Twitters, and from what country, Japan, who said what, and so on. If I'm interested, let's say, to analyze between tweets of different countries, I could do a filter by those countries and see what do they say to me. Very good. Now we are going to move to the networks. This is the part that I like the most, probably. And I will show you, first of all, one created network, and at the same time I will show you how to improve, how to change it, and so on. Here we see Semantic Network, code network. I have been reading and I realized that there are three main elements of communication: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and paralinguistic communication. So I was linking code to code. How to link? I select the first code, I drag to another code, and once I say, okay, I have these options. And the program asks me, what relation do you want to make? It contradicts, is associated, is cause of, is part of. What is this? You have to decide. This is methodological decision that you are making. You can create your own code, your own relations. And I usually in my courses recommend not to try to use these that are here. No, just think what in your case, in your theoretical framework, makes sense. And then you can play with colors, definitely. You can select the codes and change the colors. And most importantly, you can apply different layouts, semantic layout. You say, no, I'm not sure that's what I want. This one, no way. Organic, not bad. So this is the question of you. This is like cosmetic decision, no? What is the most visually powerful to explain what I'm saying here, right? And of course, then you can play with polylines and so on. So I just want to invite to practice. I don't want to go through all these options. And but just keep in mind that these layouts are really fantastic. And whenever you are in the network, you always can right-click, import neighbors, import common neighbors. So we'll import everything related with this code, or you can focus, no, I just want you to import codes that are linked to this, or just quotations, right? And you can visualize your even empirical evidences in this network and see, okay, I see, like this has to do with keys, but as well with non-verbal communication and hand caches, okay, and so on and so on. And probably I would start writing my memo, my reflections. Okay, if I see that I'm missing some codes, here I'm elaborating my network, and I say, oh my God, one of the codes emerged from data and it's extremely important to add to this network. Very easy. I just look for that code on my Explorer, and let's say which code I can creativity. Add and drag and drop, and now I will link with my main code. It's key. I found that creativity is even more important than how you transmit the message, blah blah blah. Let's say, okay, yeah, here you are. Very good. So at the end I made very messy network, but I hope that the main idea how you can link code to code, visualize quotations in a network, play with layouts, I hope that this part is clear. And if not, when we will have some time for questions and answers, I will be pleased to go more into detail and review it. And I want to show you another network. This network is really visual. Those who are working with, let's say, pictures, I will ask to preview. If I'm analyzing like images, okay, and I will fit a screen because I suppose that you are visualizing like really in a small way. And here you are. I can preview my quotations, I can visualize my empirical evidences, my codes, and if I had memos, I would have as well linked memos and so on. And in ATLASti, I remember that you can work code-to-code relation and you can work quotation to quotation. Those who works on discourse analysis, they really need to work quotation to quotation. And you can link it in ATLAS.ti. You just link one quotation to another quotation and decide it, criticize, it supports, or so on. Very good. Let's close it. This is what I wanted to say, and taking into consideration that we have 8 minutes left before I start answering your questions, I want to move on analysis tools and show you a few tools of analysis. Where you are, analysis tools. Here we have different analysis tools: Query tool, Co-occurrence Explorer, and Co-occurrence table. This is the same tool, but visualizing in different ways, like exploring, and here like focusing, more focused. What I want to visualize, those codes that co-occur. Then we have code document table and auto-coding. So let's start with auto-coding. Auto-coding, what does it do? It allows you to search for specific word or words. Let's say I want to look for charisma. Once you find the word charisma, please use the following code charisma. I should have it here. No, I don't. No problem. I will create this code, and I have to decide where I want to look for in text. Once they find the word, they have to create a quotation. I decide that my quotation will be a sentence and start auto-coding. Now, if I open my code manager, definitely I have to find my code charisma with 57 quotations. Of course, now I have to go through and to double check if the word charisma appears in the title of the article or in the text or in references, so where exactly, but I have very quickly auto-coded, and particularly I like auto-coding for literature review. It's really useful when you have to review big volumes of data, books, extensive books, so you can look for specific words and quickly ask to look for it and show to you, and then you decide what to do. Code document table, it's really quantitative tool. Now I will show you that here we are working with codes and codes, groups of codes, documents or groups of documents. What exactly this tool does, it allows you to quantify how many times, let's say what code, how many times verbal communication have been used between Spain and or genders. No, this code I did not use. Let me say communication. Communication, quickly let's find it. This one. No? Can't be. Let me try more. Keys must appear. Yeah. Okay, this is, I think that it must be fixed. I will take a note. I think that automatically should here pop up the table, quantifying how many times I used the specific marked codes in different documents or document or group documents. So I will communicate it to the developers after this class. Okay. Let's double check what about others. For example, code table, co-occurrence table. And here we can ask and visualize the co-occurrence between codes. When I used one code, for example, let's say keys for good communicator, and then I will mix with non-verbal communication, verbal communication, and paralinguistic communication. Okay, yeah, here you are. Very interesting. Of course, it quantifies, first of all, it shows that keys of good communication co-occur with the code non-verbal communication twice, with paralinguistic ones and verbal 4. Of course, now I would go to the context. Here, if I click on this, I am able to visualize my quotations, and if I double click on each quotation, I go back to the context. I go back to the document. This is extremely important to have close contact with the context. So, but once I visualize, I say, wow, interesting, very, very good. It's what exactly I was looking for. Or totally opposite. It surprises me why keys of good communication co-occur so much with verbal communication and not with paralinguistic. Now I open my memo and I have to reflect on it, right? So, of course, you can, these tables, co-occurrence tables, you can export. All quantitative stuff you will export to Excel and then reflect on it. Personally, I love this tool because it allows ample space for serendipity, to surprise, to find something that I did not expect. Of course, in this case, it's really simple, but when you do real analysis project, I really swear that in my case, it's amazingly useful. And I want to finish my presentation talking about Query Tool. And this tool, I'm really very proud of this tool because whenever I teach face-to-face courses in Spanish, normally, Query Tool, it seems that is one of the most difficult tools to understand. But no longer with this new version. Because Query Tool helps you to interrogate your data, to answer your research questions, for example. And here you have, I will close this navigator just to see my code groups and my codes. And yeah, here I have my space to consult my data, and I will need to work with these operators. For example, if I want to check if one of the keys of good communicator is non-verbal communication, I have the result. So what did I see? I double click on one code, I selected what operator I want to use, and I select another code. So we are working with three types of operators. Boolean operators. I want the quotations of one code or another. I want just to intersection. It's more focused, more clear. You will obtain less data, but maybe a very important one. And really precise. and here you have two more options. Then if you want to have all quotations above or below or siblings in the same levels, in order to take advantage of these operators, you have to have very well elaborated your semantic networks with specific relations. And then we can ask, it's really important space between the codes and their quotations. I want quotations that are within or enclosed or overlaps and so on. So all this, it depends on what I'm looking for. What is my research question? What I need to. And just to finalize about reports, to say that whenever you want, if you open Document Manager, you are more than able to create a report in Word document. If you open your Code Manager, here you have as well the possibility to create report. So you can create reports of everything, of documents, of codes, of memos. And whenever you click on the report, you have the possibility to decide what you want. You want just grouping, code groups or documents. You want to obtain comments, when exactly was created and who did it. As well, quotations, you want content of the quotations, right? But apart from content, as well, coding and memos. And this is like amazing way to decide and personalize the report. And you will know better than no one what exact report you want to create. And here you have the option and you create the report. Yeah, I asked a very big report, and very quickly I see in my document what exactly I asked, how many codes I have, those codes, comments, my even memos. Now it takes a while because it's really long report that I created, but this is now the issue of the Word document, not of the ATLASti, because my Word, I don't know why, for Windows does not work very well. But yeah, I can save it and then open in my Mac and review it. So this is briefly it. I will repeat the practice with my memos, and I will ask to create my report. Here you are, and I will be able to see my memos, my reflections. What is the last thing what I want to finish this presentation? Just to say that here we have the option Save, and these two buttons are magic buttons. Why magic buttons? Because in previous versions we could not count on Undo button. And now yes. And thank you so much for the developers for implementing this tool. And now I am able to undo 100 steps. What does it mean? That I could do undo and just start from scratch, almost from scratch when we started this webinar. Okay, so you won't mess up. There is no way to mess up with this version. Whenever you feel that, oh, I deleted 400 codes and I don't have backup project. Oh my God, what do I do? Whenever you used to work with ATLASti 7, you had a problem. But now, no. Even if you delete a bunch of codes, if you do something that then later on you realize that, oh my God, it's not what I wanted to do, you can step back, you can undo, okay? Auto coding, you see that I can click 100 steps. I don't know another software who allows you to go so much under, and redo as well. If I say, no, I want this, so you can redo it. This is what I wanted to tell, and this is the message why I wanted to finish with this, because you cannot, there is no way to mess up the project. I just want to encourage to try to work for literature review in ATLASti. I cannot imagine to work without ATLASti. And if you work with Mendeley Zotero, they are as friends, they are complementary. ATLASti is not substituting Mendeley. They are collaborating very well, and it's extremely useful. If you work with social media, fantastic. You will take a big advantage of ATLAS.ti tools. And if you work with interviews, focus groups, or images, so definitely you can code and retrieve results very easily and very quickly. So with this note, I will start seeing what questions do we have. First of all, I will put my slide just in case if you want to take note of my email account or telephone. You can call us whenever you want during the business days. And those who are willing to buy ATLASti 8 or ATLASti 7 right now, but if you buy ATLASti 7 right now, once ATLASti 8 will be released, you will have totally free updates. You won't need to pay more for it. Okay, so it will be for free. So I can provide you 10% discount coupons for licenses. So just because you attended to this webinar, you have this right. You just write me a message. Hi Neringa, I attended your ATLASti 8 webinar for Windows, and I want to buy the license. So please give me this promised discount coupon, and I will send you immediately the discount coupon that you will be able to use it. So let me see what questions do we have. If we have questions. And here Esther says she has no ATLASti 8 and she was using ATLASti 7 and she wanted to know how to use it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so I don't see more questions. I'm not sure if it was so clear or it's so unclear that then I have no questions, then you have no questions. So taking in consideration that we have 3 minutes left, maybe you can take a moment and think what kind of questions you have for me. And meanwhile, I will explain to you that, let's say, that if you are working with the previous version, like 7.8, like version 7, in our ATLASti website, ATLASti.com, video tutorials, you can visualize ATLASti 7 Windows English version. So you have a bunch of video tutorials for free to double check how to, for example, create bundle, how to create project, how to add documents. And very soon we will have the same button for ATLASti 8, right? And those who are confident in Spanish, we will have the version in Spanish language, ATLASti 7 and ATLASti 8, Mac, and so on. So here you have all different possibilities, and you can explore even on special topics, or ATLASti mobile, or even qualitative methodology. I want to let you know that we are collaborating with the International Institute for Qualitative Methodology Institute of University of Alberta, and these series are very applied from practical approach about qualitative methodology. And ATLASti sponsors this webinar series, and if you are willing to participate just to listen and to learn from others, you are more than welcome. You can register there and decide what topics you are interested in. So we are posting very soon these webinars for ATLASti 8, and once ATLASti 8 will be released, you will have access to those webinars and to those videos, video tutorials, webinars, and as well a version of ATLASti 8. But the main idea of today was just to give you an overview, to present how can you start the project, how you can analyze it, what kind of analysis you can do in order to understand if I need it, I like it, it's useful for my research or not. Once you decide if it's useful and you want to learn, then please count on us, because we would be pleased to help you in this journey, learning journey. And I will once again double check if I have one more question. And Christelle asked me, if documents are protected, word search works or not? If, Christelle, the documents are protected, it would not work. It even could not do word cruncher and look for words and create quotations, because ATLASti understands that it's an image, right? But I have a solution for it. And with Adobe Professional, you can unprotect the PDF document, but you have to pay for it. But there is another another online software or app, I'm not sure what this is exactly, Thumbset, and if you click on it, it's online and you can convert from PDF to Word, and it's for free. You don't need to invest in more softwares and more apps in order to unprotect the document. And once you unprotect the document, you will be able to do word search, word cloud, segment the quotations very comfortably, and keep analyzing data. So this is my suggestion on how I usually approach whenever I have completely protected documents. And another thing, if you are scanning some documents, I would recommend it to double check your scanner, because there are options in what way you want to scan. If you want to scan as a document or you want to scan as an image. And you can, from very beginning, to unprotect this option. So I hope that you found this webinar useful, and I hope that I was able to encourage a little bit to try the software. You can start with a demo version and see if you like it, if it's useful for you. Definitely in my case, I cannot live without ATLASti. I prepare my classes with ATLASti. I do my research with ATLASti, analyze primary data, of course, analyze secondary data. Even visually, I organize my work for ATLASti. But of course, it's me. It's not what I expect from others. But definitely, I hope that you find this software as well useful, and you will try to use it. And definitely, if you need a discount coupon, please write to me, and I will be pleased to provide it. Or if you have questions, if you want to have some kind more details about something in a specific, please write us, and we will try to help you as much as we can. So thank you very much, and have a lovely day. Thank you.